Top 10 leaked royal pictures and stories that sold for millions. Starting off with number 10, in Britain, newspapers were published. Since then, the fight for privacy has grown more intense, most recently and perhaps most significantly during Queen Elizabeth's record-breaking reign on the throne of Great Britain. There has been no shortage of friction between the royals and the tabloids' relentless pursuit of the next scoop by any means necessary. From the tabloids pouncing on Prince Charles's underage drinking, to Elizabeth suing The Sun for publishing a stolen photograph of Sarah, Duchess of York, and her daughter Princess Beatrice, meant to be used on their 1988 Christmas card. The royals reached a turning point in their lives in the 1990s when a string of unfortunate events, including affairs, explosive divorces, and tell-all interviews, sent the tabloids into overdrive. The royal family's numerous scandals that became a public spectacle in that decade were exacerbated by nefarious activity. Think Camillagate, and the ruthless campaigns of the paparazzi. Think Fergie's toe-sucking topless photos. Number 9, 1989, Princess Anne's love letters are stolen. After marrying Sir Timothy Lawrence in a private ceremony in Scotland in 1992, Anne is happy for the first time in a very long time. However, scandal erupted just 3 years earlier when love letters from Lawrence addressed to Anne were stolen from her personal briefcase and anonymously leaked to The Sun while Anne was still married to Captain Mark Phillips, the father of their 2 children. During Lawrence's time as the Queen's equerry, Anne had been having an affair with him. During Anne's unhappy, nearly 2-decade marriage, they frequently met in London or the countryside. Because of the letters' steamy nature, editors at the British tabloid decided not to publish them for fear of being sued. The Sun even gave the letters to Scotland Yard because the editors thought they were too hot to handle. Since the only plausible explanation appeared to be that the perpetrators had to have worked at the palace in order to have access to Anne's personal briefcase, Scotland Yard gathered more than 500 sets of fingerprints and interviewed nearly every person who worked there. This case proved to be one of the rare occasions when the tabloids erred on the side of caution while maintaining a sliver of decorum. To this day, the identity of the thief or thieves has never been revealed. However, it would not last. 8. 1992, Princess Diana's phone call, aka Squidgygate or Dianagate, leaks. The Princess of Wales was on the other end of the phone call in 1989 while she was at Sandringham with the royal family on New Year's Eve. James Gilby, a well-known individual who works as a marketing manager for the motorsports team Lotus, was on the other end of the line. He also owned a fortune for Gilby's gin. The Sun released a 23-minute tape during which they can be heard giggling and kissing. The call lasted about 30 minutes. Diana, who was still very much married to Charles at the time but was living a separate life away from him, makes a naughty suggestion for when the clock strikes midnight. They're also fantasizing about spending time together. A 70-year-old retired bank manager and amateur radio operator claimed that he intercepted the phone call and hit record on his home setup, which led to the recording of the call and its subsequent leak to the tabloids. The man by the name of Cyril Renan sold the tape to The Sun for approximately $10,000 8 days after the notorious phone call on New Year's Eve. One report claims that the royal correspondent for the publication stated, "The content was so explosive, we knew we had a major story." According to reports, Gilby went completely white, got in his car, and drove off when the royal correspondent confronted him about the tape's contents. It was reported when the phone call's contents, transcript, and actual recording were made public that Diana was staying at Balmoral and was shattered, but more embarrassed than anything else. In addition, it has been reported that Diana herself paid the per-minute fee to listen in after the tabloids set up a phone number where readers could call in and listen to the phone call that was leaked. The palace was shaken to its core by the phone call leak, to the point where the Queen ordered an investigation. Ken Wharf, Diana's former longtime bodyguard and confidant, claimed that she told him that on a number of occasions, she felt she and other members of the family were being monitored during the years-long investigation into the leak. He also claimed that the British Secret Service had recorded Dianagate and broadcast it repeatedly in the hope that an amateur radio operator would hear it. Diana had even reported to her friend Liz Tilberis, editor at Harper's Bazaar that she had heard strange clicks and noises while making phone calls. When it was revealed that the amateur radio operator had used primitive equipment to intercept the phone call, Diana's concerns increased. According to Wharf, Diana had clearly believed that her phone calls were being tapped in the months leading up to her passing away. On to number 7, 1993, Camillagate or Tampongate phone call leaks. Camillagate is a completely different story, and there are no indications that Diana-gate will be covered in any season of The Crown so far. The whole saga is expertly covered here, but the main point is that the phone conversation between Charles and Camilla was also leaked to the tabloids, and this part of the conversation quickly became known as Tampongate. Charles's conversation, like Diana's, was recorded in 1989, but it wasn't released to the public until 1993. The Mirror claims that people published the call's transcript in January of that year, just 1 month after Charles and Princess Diana announced their separation in December 1992. In August of 1996, they got divorced. The tape sent shockwaves through royal spheres as both were married at the time of the conversation. Even though the three of them remained friends, it also led to Camilla's divorce from Andrew because it rendered his position as the Duchess of Cornwall's husband untenable. Number 6, 1992, Fergie's toe-sucking photo scandal. Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson got married in 1986, but they broke up in March 92. 5 months later, her financial advisor, Texas millionaire John Bryan, was caught on camera kissing and sucking Fergie's toes while they were on vacation in Saint-Tropez. This caused a scandal. The headline for the photos, Fergie's Stolen Kisses, appeared in a Daily Mirror. They were taken with a telephoto lens as they relaxed by the pool. The truth of the Texas millionaire and the Duchess. One of the most contentious images featured Princess Eugenie, who was just 2 years old at the time, watching as Brian kissed Fergie on the lips. It is said that Fergie had been invited to go on vacation with the family to Balmoral. The family saw the Daily Mirror cover while they were at their 50,000-acre estate in Aberdeenshire. The night before the photos were published in the Daily Mirror, royal writer Richard Kay claimed in the Daily Mail that Princess Diana sent him a message that read, "The redhead is in trouble." According to reports, Fergie was asked to leave Balmoral, so she drove her 2 children and nanny the 50 miles to the airport. Fergie had to wait outside her home's gates when she got to London because no one was there to receive her. She sat and waited in the car while photographers snapped away. In the end, Fergie and Andrew split up in May 1996. On to number 5, 1993, Queen Elizabeth sues the Sun. The monarch was about to file her second lawsuit against the British tabloid at this point. The BBC reports that Elizabeth filed her first lawsuit in 1988 over the publication of a stolen picture of Fergie and Beatrice that was supposed to be used on their Christmas card that year. In the end, the parties came to an agreement outside of court. After the Sun published a leaked text of Her Majesty's Christmas broadcast 5 years later, in 1993 the Queen filed a second lawsuit for copyright infringement. In the end, the parties reached a settlement for about $231,000, which was given to charity. Number 4, 1993, Princess Diana's gym photos. After photos of her working out at a gym were published by the Daily Mirror, the Princess of Wales filed a lawsuit against the publication. The photos were taken with a hidden camera, putting the royals' privacy expectations once more front and center. In the end, the newspaper had to apologize and pay around $1.1 million for Diana's legal fees. Additionally, the newspaper gave roughly $230,000 to charity. According to the reports, the proprietor of the gym where the appalling incident occurred refused to settle with Diana. The gym owner, on the other hand, is said to have wanted to take the matter to court. But the gym owner changed his mind and apologized for his part in the scandal less than a week before the case was to start. In the end, he spent the roughly $346,000 he earned from selling the photos. Number 3, 1999, Sophie Rhys-Jones' topless photo. The cover of The Sun featured a topless photo of Sophie in 1988, just a few months before she was to wed Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex, the youngest son of Elizabeth and Philip. She and DJ Chris Tarrant were in Spain when the picture was taken. Sophie and Tarrant can be seen laughing while seated in the back of a car in the image. Tarrant is then seen raising her bikini top while leaning against him. Palace described the act as premeditated cruelty and described the publication of the photo as a gross invasion of privacy. The Sun's editor offered to never publish another photo of Rhys-Jones and expressed regret for publishing the image. He said in a statement, "We clearly offended Miss Sophie. As a result, I have chosen to apologize to her and the Palace." Number 2, 2006, tabloids caught hacking. The story about Prince William's knee injury that was published in the now defunct News of the World in November 2005 marked the beginning of everything. Even though the story was minor in comparison to previous royal scandals, curious minds at the palace wanted to know how the newspaper got the specifics, like that William pulled a tendon. A week later, a story about William borrowing broadcast equipment from ITN editor Tom Bradby was published in News of the World, a tabloid that ceased publication on July 10, 2011 after nearly 2 centuries. This raised suspicions even further. The shocking part, though, was that Bradby later told the Daily Mail that the News of the World article had been written before William and Bradby had met in person to discuss it. This meant that they had only talked about it over the phone when the story had been written. William's phone and voicemail may have been hacked. Royal officials reported to the police. This set off a series of events that would result in the demise of the News of the World in 1843 publication. The veteran royal correspondent Clive Goodman and private investigator Glenn Mulcair, the News of the World's top investigator, stood in a London courtroom on January 26, 2007 and apologized for the gross invasion of privacy, according to the New York Times Magazine. News of the World fired them after they received sentences of 4 months and 6 months in prison respectively. In the end, a thorough investigation into News of the World revealed that the publication had also hacked into the phones of lawmakers, murder victims, celebrities, and members of the royal family. The newspaper's owner, Rupert Murdoch, said that the actions were deplorable and unacceptable and that he would fully cooperate with the investigation. And on to number 1, 2012, Kate Middleton's topless photos. Palace once again grew angry over Kate's invasion of privacy after a photographer using a long lens captured photos of Kate topless while sunbathing on vacation in the south of France with Prince William. The photos appeared in a French magazine drawing fury from the palace. Their Royal Highnesses have been hugely saddened to learn that a French publication and a photographer have invaded their privacy in such a grotesque and totally unjustifiable manner. A statement from the palace read at the time, "The incident is reminiscent and the worst excesses of the press and paparazzi during the life of Diana, Princess of Wales, and all the more upsetting to the Duke and Duchess for being so. The Royal Highnesses had every expectation of privacy in the remote house. It is unthinkable that anyone should take such photographs, let alone publish them." The fallout was swift following the publication of the photos, as the editor for the French magazine and the photographer were charged with invasion of privacy and violating France's strict privacy laws. But that is all for today. Let me know which story was the most crazy to you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.